This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted to be joined by a little bit of an under the weather Frank Warren.
How you doing, mate?
You all right?
I've got a bit of the old Bakerloo, but other than that, I'm okay.
The old Bakerloo?
Yep.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, obviously, last time I spoke to you was the day after Tyson Fury's draw with Deontay Wilder in LA. Since then, the WBC have sanctioned an immediate rematch.
Ordered it, yeah.
Is that the same as ordering it, or?
Yeah, they've said it's ordered. Yeah, they've ordered it, so it's up to us now to try and negotiate to get it on.
Okay. So does that mean if Wilder wasn't to take it that he would be stripped or not?
I think he'd have a problem. But he wants it.
Yeah.
He's made it very clear, hasn't he?
So do you expect this fight to happen next ahead of anything else for either fighter?
I would think so. I don't know. I mean, obviously I'm not driving Tyson mad. He's had more or less a year in hard training in camp. Excuse me, and he's spending time with his family. So we'll talk about it in a couple of weeks' time. There's no rush. Nothing's going to happen over the Christmas, but that looks like the direction it'll be because they've ordered it to be an immediate rematch.
So I suppose one of the questions will be where the rematch would take place. I suppose if you, in an ideal world for yourself and Tyson, the fight happens here in a stadium.
Listen, after that decision, of course he wants to fight here. It goes without saying, but that's all part of the negotiations.
So there is a possibility it could?
Wherever, it's just all about negotiations. That's really what it is at the moment. It's deciding where and when, and it's all about reaching the financial expectations of obviously of the boxers, the two fighters.
Yeah, where it financially makes more sense.
Correct, yeah. So we'll see, but it's not, we're pretty cool, we're in a good place, so we'll just wait, and as I say, when Tyson's ready, we'll sit down and have a chat about it, and then we'll go from there.
I mean, it's been over a week now since quite a dramatic week and night in LA.
It has been, yeah.
Much talked about, much publicity, and rightly so as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's become quite a big star in the States now, hasn't he? I mean, they've all got behind him out there. He's done brilliant for himself. Yeah, really good. It
seems like what occurred in the 12th round was kind of a more talked about point than even if he'd won the belt, if that makes any sense, because that...
Well, it was dramatic, wasn't it? Everybody thought he was not going to get up from that. He got caught with 3 tremendous punches, and it's the way he sort of got up. He was lying there like he was out to the world, then bang, up and got up, stepped 3 paces to the right or whatever it was for the referee, and came back, and then came back and was on top at the end of the round.
I know there was some kind of post from Deontay Wilder and some people on social media kind of suggesting that Tyson had longer for the count, etc., etc.
Not at all. That count was what it was. You time it, the count was there, and the referee made it very clear before the fight to both fighters in their respective dressing rooms. He said to them, if anybody goes down, I'm going to count, I'll give you your count. You're up before 10, I'm going to ask you to walk 3 paces to the left or right and back again.
Oh, that was told, okay.
Oh, before the fight, yeah. That was in the dressing room to both fighters.
Yeah.
So they both, that is what he said. He's a very good referee, and I think he'd done a fantastic job keeping that fight flowing as he did. And he did exactly what he said he would do in the dressing room.
Which is pretty much what happened. He got up, and then obviously he gave him a chance to...
When he was down, when he was lying there, he told me, Tyson, he said he couldn't feel, for a momentary, he couldn't feel his legs. That's why he lay there. He said, I thought if he'd jumped straight up, he said he felt he'd been on unsteady legs and not been able to follow what the referee told him to do in the dressing room. So he's that smart. He still, was on it. He knew what he had to do. So he had to get himself back into a position where he was in control of his body, and he did that.
Frank, we saw some social media reports that Showtime done roughly around 320,000 pay-per-view buys over there. Any indication of kind of what the figures are for BT over here?
Well, BT we're still waiting for, but we're apparently on track for the numbers that were discussed before the fight. So hopefully that's going to be the case. And as regards the States, it's the highest grossing heavyweight title fight for the last 15 years in the States.
Okay.
So that's good. So it's all in all, it's done quite well when you consider You know, it's a Brit fighting a guy in Deontay Wilder who's just not quite caught on yet. And now, obviously, this fight is huge. The rematch is huge now. It's a big fight.
Is that the biggest fight still for you, for Fury?
Yeah, I think so. You look, obviously the Anthony Joshua fight's a big fight, but we can't make that. So we're doing the fight that everybody wants. And these two guys, let's get it right. You know, I said before the fight that whoever won this fight would be the #1 heavyweight. So it was a draw. I mean, the consensus of opinion is that Tyson did win the fight. So for me, he's the #1. But whatever, these two guys, you know, are willing to do it again. There's no sort of ducking out of it or anybody trying to. You know, that's how they are. They're proper fighting men. They want to fight. It's not, you know, cash cows or anything. They're out there. They want to get in there and find out who's the best. And you've got to take your hat off to them for that.
Just going back to your comment there, you said that Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua cannot be made.
Well, it can't be made, can it?
Can it not?
Well, how can it be made? You know, the other side, correct me if I'm wrong, all they keep talking about, they wanted to fight Wilder. I never heard them say once they wanted to fight Tyson Fury, the winner of the fight. Not once have you heard that ever. All you've heard
before,
is...
now
you've never heard it. He said he's trying to make Wilder for April. That's what they've been saying. They've been trying to make Wilder, which is a load of rubbish. He said he was flying out to LA to sit down with Wilder's connections, who live in New York, to make the fight. That's what he said. They're not my words, they're his. So that's the bottom line of it. That's a load of rubbish. They don't want that. You know what their agenda is. Their agenda is fight this domestic heavyweight dust-up they've got. In a couple of weeks' time, it's the winner of that, which obviously their funking's going to be White to fight him at Wembley. Or was it on the 13th?
April the 13th.
Yeah, it's coincidentally the date we're looking for to do the Fury and Wilder fight.
Really? Mm. Okay. That's interesting.
Carry on.
So if an approach is made, Frank, about Tyson Fury to fight on that date?
Tyson Fury, at the moment, you know, the WBC have ordered something. We'll see where we go, but there has been any approach. And the only way Tyson Fury will fight anyone, and I think Deontay Wilder are the same, is if they're 50-50 splits. Mm. These guys are what they are. They're A-listed heavyweight fighters. They're not making up the numbers. They're not there to make up the numbers. I mean, you know, Anthony Joshua's last fight, which was broadcast in the States, 16,000 people watched it, subscribed to watch it for nothing, free. You know, 20 times the amount of people watched Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury there. So, you know, and paid $74 for it, or $75, whatever it was. So that's where we're at with it. You know, they'll get on with their business and we'll get on with ours. But Tyson Fury is I can speak for him and you've heard it from himself, he'll fight anybody. But he's not there to make up the numbers. It's parity all the way through. And I don't see how it can be anything else other than that. How can it be?
So it's only the idea of a 50-50 split would even entertain this conversation.
Well, do you not think that? You know, you're a fight fan. At the end of the day, you want to see that fight. That's what it's going to take to make it. Tyson Fury doesn't deserve that. The press he's got, the exposure he's got. Let's get it right. Anthony Joshua at the moment is in the slipstream of Tyson Fury. That's where it's at. You know, I'll tell you, it's going to be an interesting thing. This Sports Personality of the Year, BBC Sports Personality.
Which is this Sunday?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see out of those two heavyweights who gets one comes top. That'd be an interesting thing.
But there's a strong presence, especially online, for Tyson Fury to be crowned this year's winner.
Well, for me, Sports Personality of the Year is all about being a world-class sportsman. Well, he's proved that. But more importantly, it's called Personality of the Year. And there ain't no one who's got a bigger personality than Tyson Fury. So he wins that hands down.
A lot of people believe he should have won it 2 years ago or 3 years ago when
he came narrowly fourth.
Yeah.
He would have been, you know, just by a whisker, was fourth rather than third. With all that controversial stuff that was going on and all that anti stuff that's going on. So, you know, he had a presence there. And by the way, he did go to Germany. It was a bit of a feat what he did there. But we'll see what happens.
I'm assuming you've read this article by Matt Dickinson from the Times.
I have, and I responded to it.
Yeah, we saw obviously the statement come out for you, but yeah, I mean the title itself was on the back of what happened over the weekend was uncalled for. Absolutely.
Well, I think so. I think it was, I don't know where he was at with that. And he said, the headline was, lucky to be in boxing. He's lucky to be alive, as I said in my letter. But, you're always going to get somebody come out and say what they've got to say. But I thought, I responded to that because I felt quite strongly about it. And it's up then, the people, we posted it and people were very, very supportive of Tyson. And quite rightly. People say stupid things. You've probably done it. Everybody's done it in their life. Bad things they've done and said silly things. Muhammad Ali, blacks shouldn't marry whites. The white man's the devil. I can think of lots and lots of things. And he's the most loved and respected sportsman, certainly of my lifetime. He won BBC Sports Personality of the Century Award. Now, if he could be forgiven and change his views, and maybe some of the things he said were out of context, I don't know. Tyson Fury now, as he said, that old Tyson Fury's gone. He's a different man now than he was. He was in a bad place. Mentally, he was in a terrible place. He was, it's well documented. I'm not going to drive everyone out and keep repeating about it, but he was in a bad place, and things happened, and things were said. But he's turned his life around, and I don't understand why somebody, a journalist, especially if he's the chief sports writer, should behave the way and write the thing he did. I mean, I look at George Best, who was a real troubled guy, 27 years of age, career over, best footballer of his generation. He went to prison. He was an alcoholic. He had problems, conviction for, or arrested him for beating up his wife and so forth, all those things. They named an airport after him, and he's revered. People do silly things. Things happen to you when you're young. A lot, just things happen, and you never know what's in it. But it's what you are today that counts. It's how you are today. Do you learn from the past? Do you move on? That's what it's about. And he's certainly proved an inspiration to people. And I'm not saying that lightly. I mean, and I'll show them to you. We've got like that many emails come through to this office over the course of the week and since the fight, praising him and giving inspiration. I mean, one was quite touching, in as much that it was she was a woman, she was a lesbian. She said obviously she felt Tyson was homophobic and all that sort of stuff. Some of the things he said, but she went on to say how he inspired her, having seen that documentary talking about mental illness and how he's changed his how he is, and she wished him all the luck. So if people can be forgiving, then why is somebody dragging all this rubbish back up again? Because it's rubbish. It's gone, dusted. Tyson Fury today is the one that matters. That's where he's at. And he is an inspiration. I don't care what anyone says. We're not saying this to sell tickets or anything. He is an inspiration to people who've had mental health issues. There's no doubt about that. It's not rubbish or crap. That's a fact.
No, it's in it.
And I'll show you these emails. And I was quite shocked, to be honest, when we got back. That it's sort of like you look at the press cuttings and I went, look at this. And I sent them all off to him, and I thought it was quite touching that he inspired so many people.
It just seems like there are and always will be people that kind of won't let go of his past and will always kind of, regardless of what he does.
Well, you're going to get that. I mean, but look, Anthony Joshua was forgiven for what he did, his misdemeanours, of his youth, and things that he done. That's it. And why should they be held against him? He's a different person. He's not the person he was it 8-9 years ago? He's a different person. And that's how it is. He's got a different life. He's got a different thing now. That's how it should be. But some people just won't let go of that.
Okay. Obviously, before we come on to next week's show, Warrington-Frampton, you have a show on in Brentwood this week.
Yep.
Featuring Daniel Dubois.
Yep. And Daniel's on.
Yeah. Triple D.
The next generation.
The next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a step up for him.
It is. He's fighting a guy who's a bit of a punter himself, KUGAN. He can punch.
Fought for the world title against Joseph Parker.
Yeah,
not
I think
that long ago.
he went.
Yeah. I can't remember how many
went
rounds
the distance
he went.
with him. Yeah. So he's been the distance for the world title, and that's not long ago. So it is a big step up for him. But hopefully, we believe he's got the tools to deal with it. But it's a good test for him.
Obviously, Frank, you're probably not getting bored of being asked this, but obviously Nathan Gorman fights the week after. But
Yeah.
at some point, I suppose, in the next 18 months, we'll see
Absolutely.
that fight.
Of course you will. Yeah, of course you will. It goes without saying. Not now, in 18 months. And it will be a big fight. So when that comes around, people are going to go, there'll be better fighters too. They'll have more experience. So it'll be a better fight. And that's what we want to get it to be. A better fight, bigger money for the boys. That's where it should be.
22nd December.
Yeah.
Card, is it finished, Frank? As in, have you stopped announcing for it?
It is at the. I say it is at the moment. We're going to make an announcement on Wednesday. There may be an addition to the bill.
Okay. We saw a tweet from one of your boxers today.
Who was that?
Your gypsy middleweight king, Billy Joe Saunders, said that there's some news coincidentally on Wednesday.
Did he say that?
He did say that.
Jesus Christ, he must know something I don't.
He did say that.
Yeah,
is there a chance that he could be on the bill?
I'll tell you on Wednesday. You know, it's. I'd love him to be on the bill. I would like him to be on the bill, but you know, we'll see Wednesday because it's all short. You know, it's all been, you know. We'll let you know Wednesday.
Okay.
I'll see you Wednesday.
We're just trying to do the maths, Frank.
I know, mate. I know.
What you're saying, what Bill's saying, but.
I know. You're doing your job.
And you're doing yours.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah. But yeah, cards stacked with a lot of
quality
good,
fights.
Yeah, 50-50 fights.
Well, that is. It's a real good pay-per-view show. It's the proper pay-per-view show, and I'm pleased that we've got it on. It's a good fight. You know, the main events. I know I keep banging on about it, but I bang on about it because I'm excited about it. It's a good fight between two guys at the top of their game. You know, this is not fellas who are over the hill, you know, trying to get a few quid, trying to match somebody up who's seen better days. These guys are at the top of their game. This is a good fight. It's a good proper British mega fight. That's what it is.
Who do you think wins, Frank?
I don't know. I've got a case for both. I swear to God, I can spin a coin for both of them. That's why I like it. It's such a good fight. It's such a good fight. It won't surprise me who wins.
Do you expect the winner of this fight to fight their mandatory Kid Galahad, Frank?
Don't know yet. We'll see what's happening.
It depends on who wins that fight as well.
Depends who wins the fight and depends what's available. You know, with the greatest respect, you know, Kid Galahad, he's a nice enough fella, but I mean, you know, using our competitors' words, he won't fill a phone box.
Okay. So again, dependent on who wins that fight and whether.
It depends, absolutely, yeah. We've got great undercard. You know, Mark Heffron and Liam Williams fight is a great fight. I mean, that is a great fight. Another one. You know, I'm really looking forward to that. Martin Murray's got a tough fight. You know, it's a quality undercard.
Michael Conlon in an interesting fight.
Yeah, he's in a good
Cunningham.
fight. Absolutely good fight. Yeah.
Got the debut of Tyson's brother, Thomas Fury.
Tyson will be there in his hometown.
Yeah.
Be good.
Looking good. 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah, Christmas, early Boxing Day.
Indeed. What did you watch the boxing from the weekend?
Yes, I watched a bit. I watched it on Sunday morning. Yeah.
Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Not like you, Frank. Usually up watching those fights when they're live.
No, I was out on the Saturday night. Right. I went to football Saturday and then went out afterwards.
Scraped past Huddersfield. But.
Great pass, yeah. But they got the point. They won ugly.
They did.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, what did you make of it, Frank? Not Arsenal, obviously, but the boxing on
Well, the
Saturday.
football was an ugly football match, but it was better than watching that fight. Now, what did I think of it? You know, look, it started off quite brightly, didn't he, Kel? Then he just was getting caught quite a bit. I was quite surprised how easy he was getting caught. Look, you know, he's not the fighter he was. There's no doubt about that. He's been at the top and he's been a great fighter in his time. He had 2 bad defeats, and they're hard defeats to get over. And they're talking now about him fighting Amir, who's also come from a situation from bad defeats. So it is what it is. It's if they make that fight between the two of them, it's a domestic bust up against 2 guys who've seen better days.
We'll have to wait and see. Looks obviously Amir Khan's got the Terence Crawford fight
So
there.
that's a tough fight for him as well. I mean, if I was him, where's he gonna? Well, who knows? He's his own man. He'll make his mind up.
Frank, just coming back to Billy Joe, what's kind of the plan next year to kind of get him back on track?
Get him back. Well, that's the idea to get him back on. He's got to get busy. I don't want him. I would in an ideal world like to see him fight before the end of the year, to get so he's not, at least he's going to go out end the year with some action, because he's been out of the ring for a year.
For a year, yeah, bang on a year.
And then come back, sort of March, and moving forward as quickly as we can and getting back to where he should be, which is fighting for his world title. Be interested to see what's going to happen with Andrade. I think didn't he get arrested for possession,
carrying a gun without a permit, I believe.
It was, anyway. So all sorts of things happening in that division, but he's undefeated, and he's one of the best fighters in that division. So it's our job to get him into a position where he can get his titles back.
It seemed like people kind of look at Billy Joe as, when he had the belt, as the belt was the reason they really wanted to fight him, because they may look at him now as an unnecessary risk, because why'd you fight Billy Joe if he hasn't got a belt?
You're quite right in saying that, but then the other side of it, that's my job, to get him in a position where he gets himself into a position where he can fight for them. And they didn't want to fight him when he had the belt. Twice. I mean, Golovkin twice didn't sign the contract. Canelo, forget about it. They're not even. I think he's not on. He couldn't even get on the back of the list. They're not interested in fighting Bill, and that tells you a lot about Bill.
Have the WBO said anything to you about kind of whether Billy Joe will be put as kind of a mandatory at some point to fight back for his belt?
Well, I think they're going to look at, obviously they take in consideration his behaviour since what happened with Massachusetts, and then they'll make a decision, but that'll be their decision.
But obviously, they've kind of given him a 6-month layoff, haven't they, the WBO?
Well, they haven't. I mean, all that, he can fight. He can't fight for a WBO
Yeah,
title.
that's what I mean. That's for 6 months. Is that
because
the
that's
period
because of the Massachusetts. That have to fall in line with the Massachusetts ruling. But that's been appealed. They've appealed that, and he is licensed to box. The British Boxing Board of Control licensing. He's currently licensed.
Well, hopefully wounds up on a card before the end of the year.
Well, hopefully he does, and hopefully we get next year. He gets knuckles down, and I think he's had some painful lessons this year. All that social media stuff, and hopefully that's done now. That's not going to happen again, and he moves forward. I mean, he's a quality fighter. He's like Tyson. He's a quality fighter. He just needs to knuckle down and focus on boxing, 100%.
Did you watch Lomachenko over the weekend?
Yeah, he's a star, isn't he? I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, we know you're
day one.
Big fan.
I mean, the day you turn professional. I mean, I think he's the best fighter out there by far. BoxNation showed it. It was a great fight. It was a great fight.
Well, it was against Pedraza, and
Yeah, he's a quality fighter. He's something. He's another dimension to me in boxing. I think he's one. I think he could be the best fighter I've seen in the last 30 years. That's how good, how much I rate him.
Not going to massively disagree with you there, Frank. I know I asked you about this question in LA, but are you going to have any involvement in the Eubank and DeGale if they fight, or not really?
Not really.
No.
I don't think, if they fight.
If they fight, yeah.
If they fight, who cares? Again, it's. You talk about Billy Joe Saunders, then you talk about James, and you talk about
Eubank.
He's beaten Eubank. We tried to make the fight with James DeGale. He didn't want it. What I'd be more for the fans would be interested in one of those two, I believe, fighting Bill. That would be more of an interesting situation and a more meaningful fight for either one of them.
Is that something that you've
I'd be
explored?
very interested in that, yeah.
Which one more than the other? The Eubank fight?
That's a natural one, but then you've got to deal with Looney Tunes, haven't you? So, that's the problem.
I'm assuming you're making reference to Chris Eubank Sr.
Your assumption could be correct.
Could be. Would we want to still see that fight? Absolutely. I mean,
there you go. It's a live fight, isn't it? It's a live fight. It's a good fight to be made. And so's James DeGale. And James, he got his title back. Full credit to him. And then he vacated it now.
Vacated it, yeah.
Now vacated it. And he, him and Bill would be a big London fight. Well, they're both big London fights. Either of them.
Make the offers, Frank.
I have.
Frank, actually, I did want to ask you something totally boxing non-related.
What's that?
Saw an instance at the Chelsea-Manchester City game of the guy screaming racial abuse, what it looked like, what he mouthed at Raheem Sterling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible that this
In this
still
day
goes
and age,
on. Yeah.
what I find strange about it, they're not kids. They're middle-aged people
Yeah.
doing this. It's like the football hooligans are middle-aged people. It's crazy, but you can't even... It's just ridiculous in this day and age that people can behave that way.
Because we saw as well at the Arsenal-Tottenham game, someone had thrown a banana
He said he
skin.
picked it up for it. Whatever it, but the fact of the matter is, it's starting to creep back in again, isn't it? And it's not good.
No, it's definitely not.
It's not good. We don't get it at boxing.
No.
Boxing's, whatever people say about boxing's such is a sport that actually people work together from different ethnic backgrounds. You go to amateur clubs, whatever it is, it's great discipline, and people get mutual respect for each other and work with each other. And that's what I think boxing is right up the top there as far as, making people from different backgrounds, different races, appreciate each other.
Absolutely. All right, Frank, I'm going to let you get off.
Good.
And
I'll see you I'll see you at the weigh-in, won't I? Or Friday, whenever it is.
I'm actually off to watch Canelo and Rocky Fielding this week.
Are you going over for that?
Yeah.
Well, at least there'll be some people there this time. You must be wondering where you're going, all that echoing in all those arenas you keep going to. Kansas was echoing, Sheffield echoing, Long Island, and that's the next one, that'll be another one. All them sellouts, what happened to them? They're all gone. I don't know. I wonder why.
You know me, Frank, I'm just round the back usually. You'll find me round the back.
I've heard about that. I've heard you got previous for that.
Yeah, I have, absolutely. All right, Frank, listen, obviously you've got your fight week this week, but a huge week next week, and I'm sure...
It is, and I know where you're going to be, where the real action is. Aren't you?
Frank Warren, thank you
Or
very
are you
much.
going to be round the back again?
I might toss a coin for it, actually.
You're going to toss a coin out of those two shows? You serious?
Fair's fair,
Are
Frank.
you serious?
I might have to
Now
toss a coin.
tell me the truth. Now I'm going to put you on the line now.
No, do you know what?
Where are you going?
I haven't decided. It's just God's honest
What,
truth.
so you're going to go and watch...
Hold on, I haven't said that either way. Frank, I'm undecided.
Well, I'm going to help you decide. Are you going to go and
Sell
see
it to me, Frank.
Dylan White against Derek Chisora, who's had one meaningful fight out of 8 meaningful fights at Rematch, along with David Price against... Who's he fighting, David Price?
Tom Little.
Tom Little. That's the event. My God, there's a coin. Spin that. We'll do it. I'll toss it for you. Right, Ed's...
No, are you going to accept this?
It's up to you. I thought you was a boxing fan, or maybe you're a different type of fan. Come on, let's get it out of you now. Let's see where you are. I'll spin a coin for you. So where are you going to go?
You're going to make me redo this if you lose, though, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
No?
Come on. Cool.
Well, you're going to accept this?
I don't care. You go where you want to go. I know where I want to be seen. I want to go and see a proper fight. A proper show. A real proper show. But then sometimes people have other agendas. So come on,
so what we're saying then? Call it.
You call it.
What's what?
Heads, you go to us. And tails, you do what you've got to do. Oh, look at this. I've never seen a man in such pain. The mental anguish. The mental anguish of all this.
Heads.
Oh, see, I saved your life. You're going to a great show. Heads. He's coming to see a real pay-per-view show.
Frank Warren, thank you very much.
That's all right, darling.